Hi, I'm Angelique McGuigan and this is my player development project.
I'm Lilly Cox and I'm 15 years old. I've played at junior club level for several years, and Angelique and I have decided to, instead of strengthening my backhand, which is my weaker ground stroke, to improve my forehand, which is quite powerful but can be quite inconsistent and a bit wild at times. My goals are to become more consistent in my play and learn how to use my forehand more effectively in matches and to compete in the junior Elms Lane tournament.
I had previously coached Lilly Cox for about a year or two when she was around 11 or 12 years old. Then she hit her early teens and she pretty much lost all interest in tennis. Lilly was always quietly competitive. She had an attacking forehand and a good first serve, but she always struggled with her backhand, also her volleys, and she would never approach the net. Lilly is now 15 and I'm absolutely delighted she has returned to tennis. And prior to starting this project, we had just a few lessons before I asked her to participate, and obviously her parents. The first match I observed and analysed for Lilly was the first one she had played in a few years. Her opponent was the same age, roughly the same level, and they knew each other from school and through the club. Lilly was understandably quite nervous and obviously rusty, but there were lots of positives. Lily's first serve was good, her forehand was still quite effective, and her mental attitude was positive. And I could see Lilly becoming more focused, more determined, more competitive as the match played out. Overall, Lily's reaction times were a bit slow. Her technique in terms of her foot body and racket work was a little bit lacking, and her backhand had morphed into a double come single hybrid shot. There was no approaching the net, as was to be expected, and her second serve was a little bit pokey, a little bit weak. But the potential in Lily's forehand was still there. She was able to generate a lot of pace, which her opponent found tricky to deal with, but Lilly was quite inconsistent. She made many unforced errors, and she was unable to capitalise on any short balls, and many second serve return opportunities were lost into the net. In terms of match charting, this was quite new to me, so I chose to use a momentum chart. Before the match, I decided I would like to take a closer look at Lily's shot distribution for forehands, backhands and serves, her shot placement for cross-court line depth. And I had wanted to look at Lily's game style when the point was finished to see whether her phase of play was more attacking, more neutral trading, or whether she defended more. The charting does take practice, and I did feel I was missing out perhaps on the essence of the match, but perhaps I was trying to record and annotate too much. But I can see the benefit, as it helped verify that Lilly hit almost double the amount of forehands than she did backhands, and she got a good percentage of her first serves in. Throughout the entire match, she did no volleys or smashes and just one lob. Looking at how the points were won, it made sense therefore that most of Lily's winners came from her forehand, and that while she had some winners on her backhand, they were, in all honesty, more luck than well-crafted shots. What was most interesting was looking at Lily's return of her opponent's serve, which I hadn't intended to chart, but when watching the match, it became apparent this was an area that could have made winning the first set for Lilly quite a bit easier. So I put the data into a basic pie chart, initially for my own information. I've included the data here. To be fair, Apo, her opponent, had an absolute shocker in terms of her first serve in. Just 14% of her first serves were won, meaning Apo needed a second serve 40% of the time, and 12% of double faults were also in that mix. But Apo also won 24% of points on her second serve, and looking back through the video clips, this was mainly due to Lilly either hitting the second serve straight into the net or overhitting and the ball flying out. So overall, while there were many more backhand errors during the match, the analysis clearly showed Lilly did not capitalise when returning short shots or weak second serves on her forehand. As such, I thought Lilly's forehand would perhaps be more effectively improved as a strength, and I would also be more likely to get Lilly's buy-in, particularly if she could see the stats and herself and the analysis, and perhaps would see the benefit to her forehand in a shorter period versus her backhand. Right, so I've included 3 clips for Lilly's game situation when returning her opponent's second serve. In clip 1, although her opponent faffs around a bit before actually making her second serve, you can see Lilly's ready position isn't too athletic looking. She's quite upright when she hits the ball and doesn't create space between her strings and the ball. There are some positives in that her racket does finish on the opposite side of her body. In clip 2, you can see Lilly does make a second serve return and plays out the point, but her first return is quite short and is played like a rallying ball. She just returns directly to her opponent, who doesn't actually take advantage of this, and Lilly eventually wins the point with a bit of a mishit short forehand. And in clip 3, this continues into the second set, and Lilly hits the return of serve off a forehand directly into the net. And I could have probably shown, 10, 20 other clips of exactly the same thing happening.
Okay, second set.
I use the CDIEW framework to ask questions and gather data on how effective Lilly's forehand was. And if not effective, was it a decision-making issue in that she wasn't choosing the right time to add pace or attack, or was it that she needed to improve on execution? The statistics confirm that when Lilly was trading in both back, she was more confident, and yes, she still made some errors, usually by overhitting and sending the ball out. But I think this can be addressed with Lilly preparing for the shot a bit earlier and hitting with more topspin, as she hits quite a flat ball. But when Lilly was returning a soft serve or hitting a short ball on her forehand, she did not execute at all well. The ball rarely went over the net, and if it did, it was not an effective shot. And Lilly only won the point twice in this scenario. So you can see in the table here that when she was trading with her forehand when both back, she was far more effective. But when she was returning that second serve, she could have done it 22 times. She did it half the number, and only 5 of those between set 1 and set 2 went in. She was effective 3 times, and she won the point twice. So those stats were pretty telling. So overall, Lily's strength was her forehand and her weakness, her backhand. So her strength 1 was an attacking forehand. in a both back game situation. She hit with pace and some depth as well. And her second strength was her consistent first serve. She hits quite a flat serve with pace, so it's often quite tricky for her opponent to return. Her weaknesses, her first weakness was her backhand in all game situations. And her second weakness was when returning, particularly second serves. And I could include in that, any short shots that went to her forehand. But by choosing to work on her strength, i.e. her forehand, we would also be addressing one of her weaknesses. So based on the observation and analysis, the match charting, the statistics, and the video clips, I suggested some goals that Lilly and I reviewed, discussed and agreed to. Okay, so our performance goal A was when returning, attacking a weak serve to hit a deeper past the service line cross-court forehand. And in order to help Lilly achieve that performance goal, our process goal 1 was our preparation phase. She was going to have a more athletic return of serve ready position. Our process goal 2 was the hitting phase, where we wanted to get Lilly's weight going forward onto her front foot, so that weight transfer to contact started happening. And her process goal 3 was recovery, where Lilly was going to reposition to an appropriate offset and attacking court position, rather than just kind of staying where she was after she played the point. So, and our performance goal B was to hit a more consistent trading forehand when both back and in a neutral phase of play by adding topspin. So Lilly was quite happy to attack when she was in a both back position, or continue to trade, but she made mistakes purely because she overhit and it was such a flat ball. Our process goal 1 to help achieve performance goal B was preparation phase, where we wanted faster preparation and a shoulder turn to prepare the racket, as Lilly was quite open stance. Our process goal 2 was the hitting phase, where we introduced a low to high swing path. And our process goal 3 was recovery again, but return to an athletic recovery position.
Great return again. Yeah, no commitment to that. You have actually done some really good returns, and where I've managed to get them back, then we're not even playing the shot after that. So let's do a couple more this side, then I think we'll do the ad side as well. So just 2 or 3 more. Yeah, okay. Let's do 2 more. Oh, that's a really bad serve, but what a great return. Okay, let's try 1 more. Good. Now play out the point. I've managed to get it back. Okay.
So for the situational analysis, I served some weak second serves into Lilly's forehand, initially on the deuce side, and you can see that Lilly is quite late in her preparation. She stays upright as she connects with the ball and hits most of the returns into the net. I did the same with some short feeds and deliberately kept my returns short, but the outcome was pretty much the same. There were some returns that did meet our outcome goals, but there was no real intent to do so. And I think overall there's a lack of consistency and control on the return of serve.
Okay, Lily, so how did you think that practice went?
It was quite good. I was quite inconsistent though, so some shots were good, especially like that first one. But like a lot I hit into the net or just really far out.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think we need to do a bit of work around your technique. So we're going to start really with that lovely athletic position. So you're going to be on your toes more, okay? So it's not a big planted step. You're on your toes, you're looking for that ball, you're getting your racket back. You're going to do a unit turn. We talked about a unit turn before. So you are going after that ball and not rushing forward, okay? So it would look something like this. So you turn, you get your racket back, you're creating space between your strings and the ball. You follow through really well, so I think that's a natural shot for you. And then you need to recover. You tend to go like this and you stay here. So anytime I was able to return the ball, so you're about here and you're a little bit lost. So one of the things that we're going to start thinking about is the shot after, okay? But we'll do that as we work through this project. Okay, so I'm just going to demo what I mean. I'm going to start as if I were receiving serve. So I'm here, I'm looking cross court. Okay, so the ball has come in, I'm watching it, I'm going after it, I've got that unit turn, I've got my racket back and I've created space, I've followed through, and the next bit, obviously I stayed where I was, but the next bit would be to recover. Okay, that kind of makes sense. Let me see if I can show you again. All right, so here I am, I'm really nice and light on my toes, I'm watching that serve come in, I've seen the ball, I'm going up to the ball, and I'm trying to get it as deep as I can. All right, I'm going to do one more. Okay, again, ready position, I'm trying to get low, ready to spring off. There's the ball, I've got my racket back, I'm going up the court, and then I would probably keep on going for that recovery rather than retreat and go back. Okay, so all of that makes sense. Any questions? Okay, we're going to put that into practice.
So before the demonstration, I got Lily's take on how she thought the practice went. She said maybe she was effective once or twice, but not consistently or with great results. We then discussed what I saw was happening. There was no athletic ready position, no early preparation, no unit turn, and late movement to the ball. In essence, no foot, body or racket work, so the lack of process goals was having an impact on the outcome goal or performance goal A. So we talked about preparing earlier and faster, being less upright and leaning into the ball more. I had to tread somewhat carefully here because Lily feels the ready position makes her feel stupid and awkward. And as she doesn't like it, she can get somewhat temperamental about doing it. So we had to sort of come up with new ways of saying, you know, ready position or athletic ready position. And we sort of came up with, you know, be lighter on your feet, like spring off on your toes. So she seems a little bit happy with that, but that was going to require a little bit of work.
All right, Lily, really good. So as part of our block practice, as I explained, you're going to hit a high volume of balls with that same shot. Okay, so you need to think about the outcome on me as your opponent. What effect is it going to have on me? So we've just done about 20 serves and you did pretty well. But what I'm going to do now is just feed those balls in and you're going to do exactly the same thing. I think we still need to get that shoulder turn in and create space between your strings, and we're going for that pace and that depth. Okay, when I bounce the ball, that's your cue to get ready and step in. Good. Didn't really put me under pressure. That one did. Very nice. Yeah, that's getting on top of the ball that we talked about. So we're going to do about 10 more, then we'll give you another break, okay? Yes. Really nice.
So Lily and I then moved into our closed practice, where we started with block feeding in order to give Lily a high volume of the same balls to hit. Lily was Lily was previously past the cognitive stage in tennis, but as she had been out of the game for some time, we both agreed it was more helpful to give Lily the ball she needed to work on for our specific goals, with no other distractions or decision making which might confuse the process. I had to manage Lily's expectation with block practice, as she was easily bored and then made mistakes. So we did it in small sections, and we also included some variable feeds in the same practice, so then she was ready to move on to the next stage.
Really good. I didn't even see that come over. Such a good rally, well done. Lots of good decisions there. Oh, sorry. Amazing. I think that's so good. Should we try a couple on the ad side?
For improvement 2, Lily and I had discussed our goals using the SMART acronym, which she's very familiar with as it's used at school. So when Lily had achieved hitting her deep cross-court forehand off a weak second serve numerous times, Lily felt ready to move on. Our measurable outcome goal was initially 10 times from 20 balls, then 10 from 15, so we were reducing that number, but with a caveat that her shoulders also needed to turn and her weight needed to transfer onto her front foot. So if the outcome was achieved without the process, it only counted as half a mark. So Lily actually loved the goal setting, so her buy-in was a relatively easy task in this instance. We then introduced a progression of playing out the point. You can see in the video that Lily quickly improves on the deuce side, and her early preparation improves her technique, which then aligns to help achieve that deep cross-court outcome goal more consistently. We also practiced this on the ad side, as mistakes were now a lot less frequent and Lily needed to be challenged a bit more. We began to open up our practice and we moved on.
All right, so Lily, just as we discussed, so we're going to move on, and what we need to think about now is what happens after you hit that really deep, pacey shot and I'm under pressure. Where do you go? I would hope that you would come forward to attack, but if it's a short shot, or a short return, sorry, what do you do? So you're going to start thinking about that decision-making process, and we'll play out the point, okay? That's really good. Okay. It was a great return, and it was really nice to see you come forward. Well done. Good. Yep. First, that return is getting stronger and deeper. Good job. Yeah, so slightly varied that serve a little bit. So improved. That was Lily gone back to upright. Oh! What a winner! Look at me, couldn't even move. Well done.
With our next improvement, Lily and I started to think about progressions and also introduce the next shot. So Lily actually struggled here initially as there was probably too much to think about. So we had to slightly regress our coaching process and we went back to what we knew. When Lily was ready again, our progressions were based on the next shot after Lily had returned a weak serve successfully or not. So what decisions would she make if she achieved her outcome? We agreed she would approach the net, and if she didn't, she would recover and be ready for her opponent's return. Lily loved this session and really enjoyed the challenge of coming forward. Her ending shot, as you can see in the video, may not have been the best, but getting her to come forward was such an achievement in itself.
All right, Lily, so this is your last session before your match with Apo. We're going to put in random feeds, random shots, serves, and we just play out the point. Bad luck, but really good coming forward. That's right, I'll get that one. Well done. So we'll stay on the juice side for now. We'll mix it up in a minute. Oh! Lily, amazing! Oh, I can't even get that one back. Too good. Well done. Great decision making, Lily. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Good. Yeah, so the end result, we haven't done any work on your backhand and your volleys, but you came forward. Really good. All right, last one here. Yeah, that was quite a lot deeper. All right, let's try that one again. Good, Lily. What a lob. Fantastic.
So Lily and I then moved on to her last improvement before her match. It was set up like a match, and Lily's target was to achieve 1 point for an effective forehand return, -1 point for every ball into the net, 2 points for coming forward to the net on a deep cross-court return, and 3 points for an outright winner. Right at the last minute, we also added in me coming to the net on a short ball from Lily, and the decision she would make at that point. And as you can see, she did a delightful lob, and I think Lily pretty much nailed that session. Okay, so in terms of charting for the second match, I knew Lily would hit more forehands than backhands. So I charted an annotated shot distribution to look at where Lily was getting her winners or otherwise. The first set of the second match nearly made me want to weep and or throw in the towel. Lily's opponent, to be fair, was much sharper on her serving and improved on her first serve percentage. But where there were second serves or short balls on Lily's forehand, she totally regressed, straight back to hitting the balls into the net and or overhitting, and the balls went flying out. Lily also came forward on so many of the wrong balls and her opponent passed her easily or lobbed her. Interestingly, the best part of Lily's game was her backhand, which was far more consistent. So Lily lost the first set quite easily and quite quickly, and was understandably frustrated. So we took a break and I asked Lily to slow down as all of her shots were really rushed. And I just think she wanted to prove so badly that she had this, that it all went a bit wrong. So we agreed her decision making needed some thought and she was putting far too much pressure on herself. We reminded ourselves of our process goals in order for Lily to achieve her main performance goal. So Lily's footwork and focus began to improve, and you can see from the momentum chart for the second set, there was a complete turnaround. With the right process goals, Lily's forehand improved considerably. So in turn, her confidence grew, and her depth and pace of ball when returning was achieved. There was one anomaly when Lily was 5-1 up and she hit every ball out, but I think she just lost a bit of focus, but she pulled it together to win her next service game for a really good win and a 6-2 set. The clips that I've included here are obviously all from the second set. In clip 1, I've included this even though it's actually Lily serving, because it's one of the few rallies the girls had, and Lily controlled the point really well. You can see Lily's footwork is good, her weight transfer is forward, and she has so much pace on her last forehand return that her opponent couldn't actually play it, and she hit it out of the court. In clip 2, you can see Apo, her opponent, puts in a weak second serve, and Lily absolutely pulverises it. Her process goals were all achieved, which makes a performance goal look really easy. Lily was delighted, and I had to keep a poker face myself to stop myself from cheering. In clip 3, the performance goal was a rocket cross-court winner with depth and pace. So I used a close-up here of Lily to really show the achievement of her process goals. We do still need to work on the ready position, but, Lily is trying to be more athletic, and the sort of shuffling around she does is quite an improvement on the planted feet we had 8 weeks ago. There's a great shoulder turn. She gets low, which has also been a challenge for her, and she really does create that space between her racket and the ball, and she's trying not to smile as she walks away. So that was a really great result. So what's next? Well, Lily really enjoyed this project, and while she became frustrated at times, by the end she could see how much her performance had improved, and this has motivated her to continue, and she would like to add further strings to her bow and become a more rounded player. For Lily, this means wanting to continue to work on approaching the net, as her confidence in doing so has really grown. But it needs more work and practice, obviously. We have also agreed it's time for Lily to work on volleys in order to finish the point when she does come forward a lot sooner, and to bring more variety to her game. I would like to work with Lily on some just rallying backhand coaching, just some trading shots, which she said she would also consider. That's progress, but she particularly recognised her opponent try to target Lily's backhand as her weaker ground stroke during both matches. So I think she's got some incentive to improve her backhand. Okay, so looking back, I think one of my strengths was motivating and encouraging the player. I created a high energy, positive learning environment for Lily in order for her to perform to the best of her ability and to maximise her improvement on court. Conversely, I may not have challenged Lily enough or as much as I could or should have. I wanted to ensure that she felt the goals were achievable and perhaps I backed off from pushing her harder at times. Another strength was I think I've got good communication skills. Lily and I had a solid partnership where we felt that we were in that project together. I listened well, so I could really hear the good, the bad, the concerns, the frustrations, and I acted accordingly to rectify whatever I needed to rectify. Upon reflection, though, I perhaps talked too much at times and did not give enough space for Lily to respond. I think I may have jumped in too quickly, when I was asking questions and getting her buy-in. But I think this will always be a tricky balance to achieve with a teenager. And finally, my strength, and this may not have been a strength at the time, but I believe I became a better coach as we went through this coaching process. My own understanding consolidated. And I had light bulb moments of patterns of play, and the principles of practice also worked very well for my player, for Lily. And a weakness or an area for improvement is definitely match charting. I think it's an acquired skill. Clearly one I intend to work on because it makes a lot of sense to me. I also didn't put enough work into progressions, I think. As we went through each stage, there were some, but I think I could have perhaps made Lily do some decision making on her own without encouraging her. I think I encouraged her maybe a bit too much, or I was a bit too helpful because I wanted her to get it right. But I think those areas are quite easily rectified.